قل بسم الله رب هذا الغلام أمام الجمع.
بسم الله رب هذا الغلام.
Is there anything worth dying for? Would you sacrifice your life for money, a nation, an idol, a president and his whims? Is there anything or anyone worthy of your sacrifice? Would you throw yourself into fire willingly, or get sawed into two halves from the neck down? There is one answer to all these questions, one truth, comfortable for some, uncomfortable for most. The last messenger of Allah, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, قد كان من قبلكم يؤخذ الرجل فيحفر له في الأرض فيجعل فيها فيجاء بالمنشار فيوضع على رأسه فيجعل نصفين ويمشط بأمشاط الحديد ما دون لحمه وعظمه فما يصده ذلك عن دينه. Yes, my friends, the call for Tawheed, believing that there is none worthy of worship except the only one absolute God. This word is what a lot of people throughout history have given their lives for. It's a very heavy word if you think deeply about it. It means your whole life has to revolve around this one word while eating, drinking, working, traveling, interacting with your parents, siblings, friends, strangers, spouse, sons and daughters. When the disbelievers of Quraysh in Mecca heard the message of Islam, they knew its implications thoroughly. They would have had to give up on their power, hierarchy, ego, and old traditions. It would upset the social order, they said. Not only that, for the sake of this word, they'd even have to fight the Romans and Persians, the superpowers of the time, because they knew these powers won't allow such unifying ideology to grow in their backyard. The story of today is going to be a thrilling one, so grab your snacks and drinks, and Bismillah, we start. The year is 524 AD. Najran, south of Arabia. The Himyarite kingdom rules these lands with an iron fist. This long lineage of kings have adopted Judaism as their religion. King Yusuf ibn Nawas, however, the current Himyar ruler, has declared himself a god to be worshipped by his subjects forcefully. A'udhu billah. The correct teachings of Isa ibn Maryam, Jesus, peace be upon him, can still be found around the corners of the world. And one of these locations is Najran. Unfortunately, the self-declared god Ibn Nawas has become arrogant against the truth. He founded very creative ways to torture and kill people if they refused. His high priest performs dark magic to deceive the people into worshipping this false god. Now, the high priest is getting old and wants a new pupil who's sharp in mind and literacy. A prodigy worthy of his knowledge, if you will. The pupil starts learning the ways of magic, deceit, and trickery. Such ways doesn't sit well with him. It goes against his innate disposition, his morals, his upbringing, everything he stood for. Coincidentally, or more accurately, as per the will and destiny of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he finds a monk in an isolated cave on his way to the high priest's lessons. He hears some utters of beautiful speech. He gets closer and closer, but the monk notices and calls out to him. The pupil hesitantly asks him what he was doing back there. Then the monk hits him hard with the truth. I am worshipping the one. Who's the one? Allah. No one else is worthy of worship except towards him. Once again, the high priest teaches him more immoral acts than before. But the pupil now is not as focused as before. What was this strange man talking about? The truthful words he uttered partially quenched the thirst of his heart and soul. This time, the pupil goes back directly to the monk's cave.
What brought you back?
Your words had this sweetness I cannot forget. Teach me, please.
But what about your lessons at the palace?
What should I do?
How about this? When the high priest asks you where you've been, Tell him I was held back by my parents. When your parents ask you, tell them the high priest held me back.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, let's begin.
Days go by. The pupil wakes up, goes to the monk first, then the high priest. Once finished, he goes back to the monk, then his family. The high priest takes notice of the pupil's constantly arrivals. He punishes him, saying, "Don't you care about my lessons? You're my apprentice, so act like one. Next time, you come back early, you got that?" The pupil leaves in a saddened state, rethinking everything in his life while in pain. But on his way back home, he encounters a huge beast blocking the road and threatening the travelers. The pupil picks up a rock and says, "Oh God, if what the monk is saying is true, then let me kill this beast." The beast dies. The people are cheerful. He goes back excitingly to the monk to tell the tale. The monk smiles but firmly says,
Allah has bestowed upon you a great blessing. You will surely be tested. If it comes to it, don't tell on me. I fear that I won't bear the pain at my age and give in to their beliefs.
Word spreads out that the pupil was able to kill a great beast with one small rock. All sorts of people with different kinds of illnesses begin showing up. The deaf, the blind, the paralyzed. He starts healing all sorts of disabilities. He tells them, if you want to be healed, you first need to believe that there is no one worthy of worship except Allah. And by His will, not I, you will be healed. The blind counselor of the king goes to the pupil to see for himself what he can do. Worship Allah alone, and I can heal your eyes by His will, not mine. Yes, I believe.
نجوم لاحت في العليا لتناجي العزة والسؤدد وبريق يسطع أخاذا ونفوس الناس بها تسعد نجوم لاحت في العليا لتناجي العزة والسؤدد.
The king catches word of what's happening. Isn't this the pupil you were teaching, high priest? Yes, he stopped showing up to my lessons, and then I found out that he's healing people without crediting you, my king. So is he crediting himself now? No, my king. That's what's so baffling. He's claiming that Allah is the one that heals, not him. Oh no, this is what I was afraid of. He's calling upon the God my ancestors used to worship. This is heresy. Soon he will have the whole city turn away from me. Worse yet, against me.
Counselor, what do you think of all of this? What should we do?
My king, we should go easy on the people as to make sure we don't antagonize them against us. I think we should allow some free discourse to allow people to decide for themselves. That way, if your religion is right, then they'll follow you with all their hearts.
The king looks at him as he's talking, noticing something off about him. He waves his hand and spots that his eyes saccade towards it.
Wait. You can see. Since when? I'm so happy for you. Don't tell me you went to that pupil. He healed you, didn't he?
The king, I was healed by Allah the One.
And you dare worship him without my command?
My king, let's all go back to the truth. I know you know it's the truth. Allah will bless us and our nation. Besides, if we declare that we believe in the Almighty and the teachings of Prophet Jesus, then the populace will love us for it and will establish a united front against our enemies. Don't you see that this is the only right path for us and our kingdom?
I heard enough. You're wrong. They must worship me only. That's the only way I can hold on to power. Dissociate yourself from this religion at once or else.
Never. I will never go back while knowing what the truth is finally.
Gods!
The king orders his guards to take the counselor to the dungeons and torture him severely until he backs out of his beliefs. And then orders the pupil to be arrested and brought to his presence. Once there, the king asks him what the whole healing stuff was about and as to why he's not crediting the king. The pupil is first reluctant, but discovers courage he's never experienced before, thinking to himself, this is the moment to face it all. The oppression, the arrogance, the pure evil of declaring yourself to be a God deserving of worship. I worship the one God, Allah, your God and my God. Who taught you this? Don't you know that I forbid my subjects to worship anyone but me? I worship the one, and you cannot change that. O King, I advise that you worship the one too. It's not too late to repent. He is the all-merciful. I'm tired of your nonsense. Tell me who taught you this and dissociate yourself from such beliefs, or else. There is no God but Allah. Guards! They take the pupil to the dungeons to torture him and extract information. After so much pain, the pupil reveals the whereabouts of the monk. So they arrest him and bring him to the dungeons as well. They torture him until he turns back from the truth. But Allah assists the monk with steadfastness and courage that baffled the king. How can someone at this age handle so much pain and suffering in front of sure death? The king orders the guards to bring a saw. Maybe that'll scare him out of his beliefs. But when tested with true horror, the monk stays firm on the truth and does not budge. There is no God but Allah. Believe in Allah too, or else your arrogance is going to seal your fate. So they put the saw on the junction between his neck and shoulder. Renounce your beliefs. There is no God but Allah. He is sawed into two halves. But that's not enough for them. So they go to the counselor and demand the same thing. They bring the saw again.
There is no God but Allah. Seize him.
Oh, their cruel hearts. The counselor meets the same fate. They now go to the pupil and are about to do the same thing. But the high priest intervenes. We can't just kill him here, my king. The news will spread to the people he's done miracles for. They will rise up against us. Let's instead have him thrown from a high peak in the mountains. It will just be a case of disappearance and no one will know a thing. The king smiles arrogantly and orders the proposition to be executed. Throw him if he doesn't denounce his beliefs. They reach the peak and order him to worship the king again. The pupil refuses and says, O Allah, protect me from them however you will. The earth shakes with no warning and causes the fall of the guards to their absolute demise. The pupil shows up again at the palace to show evidence that Allah is the only one worthy of worship. Allah protected him from the earthquake on top of a mountain while tied up. The king must realize that he can't win against God, but his arrogance comes in the way and orders that they send him far away in the sea and throw him if he doesn't stop believing. He once again says, O Allah, protect me from them however you will. Waves start rocking the boat and soon a storm forms right in front of their eyes, all surprised at the magnificent and terrifying sight. The waves throw off the guards instead while nothing happens to the pupil. He goes back to the palace, proving once again that Allah is protecting him. And the king, in his self-declared nonsense of a god, can't do anything about it. Both the king and the high priest give up on their plans. So they try to kill him then and there with an arrow, but it doesn't hit. They try again, and it seems that the arrow is swerving away from its target, as if someone is actively protecting the pupil. Surely the king will accept the truth, right? It is not the eyes that go blind, but the hearts that lie within their chests. The pupil, realizing that the king will never believe, devises a smart plan. King, if you want to end me, then collect all the people in the center square of the city and have us on a large platform where everyone can see.
Before you shoot, say loudly, in the name of Allah, the God of this boy, then and only then will you end me.
The king blindly agrees along with his high priest. Allah has sealed their fates among the disbelievers who shall never be guided to the truth.
قل بسم الله رب هذا الغلام أمام الجمع.
بسم الله رب هذا الغلام.
This is exactly what I was afraid of. Everyone is rebelling, my king. They now believe in the pupil's god. This is disastrous.
The king sweats anxiously as he realizes everything is falling apart in his kingdom. He orders the rounding of all present and orders a great ditch of fire to be dug around the city for all to see. A great amount of wood and coal is used to light a huge fire that can be seen at a great distance. The people are gathered forcefully near the great ditch, and whoever doesn't renounce their belief in Allah are thrown into it. Understandably, lots of people hesitate and are about to disbelieve, but a mother carrying her baby were among those people being thrown. It's her turn now. The moment she tried to turn back on the truth, her baby spoke, saying, "It's okay, mother, you're on the truth." Surprised, shocked, and resolute, she and the people around her strengthen their will to stay on the truth. Their faith in Allah is now absolute. Their sacrifice is just a sting compared to the paradise they will acquire. What a wonderful trade it is. What a great victory it is for the faithful. As to the king, associates, and accomplices, there is different opinions on what happened to them. Some say the great fire they built turned on them in a rage that spared none. Others say the empires around them heard of the horrifying news and decided to finish this oppressive king once and for all. The king graciously drowned while fleeing from a battle with the Aksumites, who then take over the Himyarite kingdom. I hope you enjoyed our story for today, and I hope you left this video with a little more wisdom than before. May Allah assist the oppressed around the world, and may He grant us victory over the oppressors through His will. Wassalamu alaikum.